All right, we're coming to you from the field. This is Garrett's Live from the Field Tailgate Talk podcast. And we're here today in Colonial, Virginia with a Virginian, Dan Frezza, a guy we've known for a long time. How you doing, bud?
Hanging in there, Steve.
Yeah, so you've been relic hunting for most of your life, I take it, right? You kind of learned from your father, or how did that get about happening with you?
Yeah, so it all started with me. I was about 7 or 8 years old. I'm Virginian today. I was a North Carolinian then. And
Tip your hat back a little bit so the folks can see your nice face there. Look at that. There's this nice mug.
I like to hide this.
All right.
But for me, no. I was 7 or 8. I remember vividly. My dad went out relic hunting with a group of buddies from work. They pulled up in a Toyota Land Cruiser. Tailgate dropped down, covered with relics. And I remembered as a smart, wisecracked 7-year-old, the guy said, "You can have anything you want." I picked a horseshoe and a knife blade. Looked over all the mini balls, all the buttons, all the coins. Still have both today in my collection. But that was it. I saw that, and then from that point forward, Dad and I started going out together. Graduated from his shovel, digging for him, to getting my own metal detector, and for the last 30 plus years, finding stuff now.
So from that, what was one of your most memorable early relics, something that really sticks with you today?
So I've got 2 on a placard that my dad gave me. It's in my collection. My first eagle button, my first bullet. I eyeballed my first 3-ringer with my dad at Fort Fisher, North Carolina, on the public beach, not on the state historic site, but eyeballed it after a storm. And then I've got an eagle button I found with them probably back in 1989, 1990, metal detecting in Castle Hayne, North Carolina. So those are probably my 2 favorites.
That probably means a lot, getting to hunt with your dad, and a lot of memories there, a lot of good times, a lot of digging in Virginia hunts, a lot of other organized hunts you've done over the years, right?
Yep. Relic hunting for me is about the memory. It's the experience. I've got really cool stuff. I've got Confederate plates, I've got Union plates, I've got rare buttons and coins. But it always comes back to the memory. Whatever I found with the people I found it with, and the connection to the people that lost it.
But you've done a lot over the years, like writing and editing. You worked on a relic magazine. You've done a lot of things like that.
Yeah.
As I understand, you're working on a book on metal detecting and relic hunting and all that good stuff, right?
Absolutely. I met you doing that. It was, you're advertising for your own book, so author to author. Yeah, I'm working on my first book. I've helped with other books over the years, but I and a friend, John Hickox, up in Northern Virginia at Bull Run Winery, we started doing this book that's basically the second coming of Illustrated History of Civil War Relics by Steve Sylvia and Mike O'Donnell. This is now 1980 to 2020, next 40 years of relic hunting. We're going to cover the history of Civil War relic hunting, from the machines, the people, the collections, and the tips and tricks of the way it's changed over the last 4 decades.
So it sounds like newbies, beginners could learn some stuff from this, but people that have been doing it a few years like me, I'm certainly going to learn some stuff. I've always learned from you, hunting with you, and appreciate all the time we spent in the field.
I don't think I could teach you much, but no, this is for everybody. Whether you're just getting into the hobby, I think you'll enjoy it. Whether you're an old salty soul, I think you'll also find yourself in it.
So for somebody just wanting to get into relic hunting, doesn't know much about it, what basic advice would you give some folks?
I would say just take time and patience. I am probably the biggest critic of folks that will say it's about the newest, next machine. Machines make a difference. I've used Garrett for the last decade and a half now. They definitely make a difference. But if I didn't learn it, I wouldn't be successful. And I've taken the time with every iteration of your machines to take the time to learn, to practice, to teach yourself, and also ask questions of others. You don't know it all. Find out what other people are doing, what works for them, and try to apply it and see if it works for you.
And some of the places you go have a lot of history, a lot of stuff's been found there, and people say, oh, it's pounded out, it's hunted out, but you've kind of taught us sometimes just to slow down, work some different areas, right?
I think I told you that yesterday. Slow down. If you slow down and you do listen for all of those investigative targets, you're going to be far more rewarded than if you just skip through and look for the high tones only.
Well, how about talk about a couple of things? Could be maybe a coin, a relic, a breastplate, a couple of things that you really think are cool. Maybe we'll show a couple of pictures during this of some of your memorable finds.
I mean, one that comes to mind was, so I'm also an avid scuba diver as I am on land, so I'm amphibious. And I've got a Queen's Rangers button. It's an American Loyalist button from the Revolutionary War, and it is pristine. That was one that I found about 2 years ago scuba diving. It's a pewter button, really cool. I found tomahawks from the late 1600s, hordes of coins, hammered coins from the 1500s. As far as the Civil War goes, I've got belt plates that we found with trips with some of your buddies, Bo we met. I found one of my first belt plates in the Valley of Virginia with Bo. That's one that's special.
You guys were kind of some of the early river hunters that really got people into that. Butch Holcomb kind of told us about you guys, and we got to meet you, and hunt some rivers with you, and you found some great stuff in the water, haven't you?
Absolutely. In fact, one of my favorite pictures I've got hanging in my basement in my collection is a picture of Bo and I with crossed muskets and a whole line of artillery shells we found. I think that was 2012, I think it was. But that was a great summer.
I think we're going to do another tailgate podcast, maybe interview old Bo, you know, and talk about some of these memorable events. But anything else you want to pass on to people getting into metal detecting and relic hunting? Just kind of wrap it up here, and maybe we'll go hunt here in a little bit.
I want to find. It's cold. If you can't tell,
we're
it
freezing.
Is cold. It is not a warm spring Virginia. No, just have fun. Learn your machine, and most importantly, don't lose the connection to the stuff you find. If you do that, all you're doing is wasting time and finding stuff. If you're really thinking about the people that lost it and you're reading the history of how it got there, it becomes memories. And so that for me is special.
All right, well, we'll kind of wrap this up here so we can get some hunting in. But this has been Tailgate Talk with Garrett. Dan, pleasure to see you always. Maybe we'll go find something today.
Go find a bullet.
All right, enjoyed it, folks.